Maybe I better go look. Just say we're live. Are we live?
We can't hear Frank.
We are
Well,
live.
that explains a lot.
Damn mutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want me? I can also check and see if the world can hear. Speak again. Nope, you can't. I don't. All right, we're so professional here. All right. Let me kill the sound on YouTube so I don't hear myself. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Between the Rolls. This is the Socium project, aka, well, I guess IRDM, but we're 8 of us are basically.
Now there's something screwed up. I'm okay, but they can't hear you now as soon as I plugged in.
I'll put this thing back on. Yep, I'm definitely muted.
Yeah, now, you know, you can hear me now, but we can't hear you. You know what? I think I know what it is, though. Nope, that's not what it is.
Oh, you don't hear any of us.
I can hear you.
But it's not broadcasting.
There you go. Fuck it, folks. We're back. Only 5 minutes late. Carol, go ahead and finish it out.
I think maybe I should start again.
Okay.
Because I think half of it got. Go ahead, start. Because I think it got all muted out.
Well, you know what? Let me stop recording. Let me start recording. Folks, Tuesday night, welcome aboard Murder Hobo Inc. Between the Rules, the Socium Project. Sorry for all the audio headaches. We've had 2 weeks off, and we've forgotten everything we fucking knew. We are for mature audiences only, so if you don't like it, move along, find something that you do like. We would like to thank you for coming. If this is your first time, we hope to see you again. If you're a returning visitor, thank you very much. We hope you'll be able to glean some information. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. If you want to shoot the shit about D&D, join our Discord. If you want to buy our cool crap, we got that. If you need new math rocks, go on over to @PirateDogDice. Hit them up on Twitter for some cool ones. Don't forget, Oddfish Games has 60 adventure cents. They also have something called the Shine System, which helps you be a much better writer and I wish better producer than me. Yes, I am producing the show.
That's why we have sound problems.
Yeah, when I do this shit, I always fuck something up. That's why I should just let Carrie do it and be done with it. Folks, this is the Socium Project. This is where 8 of us, us 4 and the other 4, are going to go ahead and build the world of Socium for you to go ahead and borrow, play in, hijack, whatever. Tonight we are going to discuss historical leaders. Historical leaders is the topic for June. These 3 and myself have a few NPCs, if you will, that will be kind of enjoyable. Since we're running behind, let's do the quick intros. Carol, you're up first. Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Carol, as he just said. I'm a longtime gamer, occasional GM, and commissioned mini painter. This month, I'm actually doing a fundraiser for Pride Month. That's why there's a flag behind me. On my stream, we're doing a part of the Fabulous Marines, which is, oh my gosh, there's so many of us. Artists, mini painting streamers, and we're all raising money for the Trevor Project. So you can come by my stream, which is on Muses_Touch on that other thing, Twitch. And I have shenanigans you can actually pay for, or you put a name on the flag to honor somebody. And I stream on Saturdays at 12:30, Mondays at 7, Wednesdays, tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Nicely done.
Yep. And normally on here, I play Anja Yeager on the Craig campaign.
This Thursday.
Which is, yes. I can't wait, because it's been
back after a 2-week hiatus.
Whose fault was that, Frank?
We're in Minnesota enjoying the Mississippi River. Came back to a shitstorm. Jeff, you're up next. Who are you?
I'm just Jeff. That's it. We got to make it short today.
There was some discussion that you might be an angel. Is that the case?
That is true. I got my halo. Can you see that?
Well,
In the arms
we can see it plain as
day.
I feel the warmth of your demeanor fill me with desire. John, last but not least, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, my name is John. I'm a old school gamer from the first edition. And I just game. I don't have a special websites or anything. But you can find me on Roll20 as Virtue It Up and a lot of other places on Discord as well.
Nicely done. Guys, we are going to discuss historical figures, probably rulers, but they don't have to be. We will start with Anja, since she can't put her real goddamn name up
fine.
here. God, this show's done by monkeys. That's what the monkeys are doing this show,
I will
boys and girls.
rename myself, because I keep that one since I'm on here.
Carol, you got a couple of countries. Which one are we going to do first?
Technically, I've got like 3 countries if you include the dwarves.
Do we want to get into a count pissing match? Because
that's the question. Do I want to do the dwarvesies, or do I want to do? Everybody knows about Rosa, right?
Nobody wants to hear about Rosa.
I'll tell you what. I'll start with I'll do Earthhome, because I've done very little about the dwarves. They're ruled by, I went with current leaders, so they were ruled by Clan Lord Aragus Stonefist. Unlike their northern neighbors, the dwarves actually, they're not reclusive in the sense of they're unwelcoming to visitors, including especially the leader, who is a jovial and welcoming sort. However, they are in a location which is rather difficult to get to. So they're only really reclusive by location. But their leader is a fair leader. He said, of course, I'm going with the stereotypical dwarf. He does like his drink. And of course, they're very good miners. And he is probably one of the best craftsmen in all of the world. How they pick their leader, I think, is very interesting. When the previous leader dies, it is an office that they do keep for their life. But instead of just picking their son or something like that, they have a series of tests. Not only tests of strength, like physical strength and battle prowess, but also mental strength and basically all the other attributes, wisdom, charisma, your ability to lead, your ability to run a country. So there is a series of tests, and basically whoever wins ends up the ruler.
Is it in a pit?
Well, part of it, yeah. No, there definitely is a test of strength and a test of battle. They
So
do.
it's not the SAT.
No,
Okay.
but there is an SAT of sorts as well. There's several tests. It's not just one. He's been in power now for about 43 years. He's about 75 years old. I said he's a fair ruler. He doesn't rule. How do I put this? He's not a dictator. It's a fairly free. It's a free kingdom, as long as you stay in line. Don't go out and kill your neighbors or whatever. As long as you follow the rules, and they're fair rules. They're not overly heavy-handed. You're fine. I don't know what else people want to know. I was a little stuck on what exactly I should put in this, so I'm definitely open to questions to give me some more ideas of what I should add to these entries.
Well, I'll go ahead and ask.
Good.
What's he look like? Does he have any deformities, things of that nature? Very potent, impressionable individual, since he's got high charisma, apparently.
Maybe a hunchback.
No. Actually, I'm going to say no. He is. I think 75 is starting to get a little bit on the. I'm trying to remember how old dwarves I know live longer than humans, but they don't. So he's probably like middle age. I think it's 75. So of course he's got. Let's see, what color beard. So he's stout. He's very muscular. He's got a very warm smile and warm. Just you could tell, warm look to his eyes and kind. I will say he'll have
this
dark
is a
brown
horrible
hair.
Tinder profile so far.
No. Oh, what do you want? He's got probably shoulder length dark brown hair. It said he's very muscular. He does like shiny things. He does like gold and like metal, so he does tend to wear bling. But that's befitting his station. He's been in a number of fights, so he's lost a couple teeth, and he's had them replaced with some gold teeth.
Nice.
And of course rings. Sure, why not? He's got like a sleeve of tattoos on his left arm. I'm trying to debate whether or not I told you I didn't get this far. I will say there might even be a magical one or two in there. The only person that knows is the person that gave him the tattoos.
Nice. Jeff, you got any questions?
You don't.
Wow, really?
I know.
I got a few, but I'm waiting till the end. John, how about you?
So, I got a question. Does he have any particular enemies, or are there anybody that maybe doesn't like him?
Good one.
Not really. He hasn't really gotten out in the world too much to make enemies. They've basically.
What about within his clan, though? Like any competitors?
No, people tend to like him. I mean, I guess the closest thing to an enemy I could see was somebody who lost the contest who really wanted to be king. But it is what it is. I'm gonna say, nah, he's very likable. There's a reason why, you put up you try to have somebody who's a likable leader, and he's really done nothing to piss anybody off there. I said he doesn't. You may have a strong hand, but he doesn't have like a heavy touch when it comes to rule, if that makes sense. I mean, on the other hand, like when he had those certain, Nazi dwarves that were living down there, when a certain Rosa came to him and said, let's take these assholes out. She basically tried to unite everybody around. He was all for it, and yes, and he helped fight to kick them all out. And it's gonna say, and just a little bit on the Sea Haven. I think I said there's like a council of 12 pirate lords, and Rosa's like the head. She breaks all the ties, but so she's like considered the leader. But there's a council of 12. I mean, I don't really have that fleshed out. Also, I figured trying to go through 12 people on this would be just too much. But that's basically the government of Sea Haven, and you have to be a pirate captain, and you are put up for nomination, and then you are elected. You have to be elected in.
But we're talking about Earthhome, right?
Yeah, well, I'm sort of going with both because they're both sort of part of the same. They're not the same country, but they're part of the same area, and so I'm trying to cover that whole thing right now, and then I'll just worry about the Elven Kingdom next.
Cool. John, any other questions?
No, I guess not.
Cool beans. Jeff, what are we going to discuss? Your slavery piece of shit or your goat people?
I don't know. I guess we'll do Paradise first. And the person,
it's a crowd pleaser.
It is. Everybody likes Paradise.
Loves flavors, man.
All right. So the first person we're going to talk about is a Countess Annabelle Nightbird, and she is one of the noble families in Logos. And so she got married at a really young age to Morgan Nightbird, who was 20 years older than her. But when she gave birth, he suddenly died, and so she took over their family as the matriarch. And she's extremely beautiful, and even over time, her beauty hasn't faded. And of course, all the other nobles are trying to, run up and try to get her married so they can kind of take over her lands. And so the Nightbird family, they're responsible for a district called Belladonna that's in Logos. And then also there's a small little village about 50 miles west of Logos called Nightshade. And they're kind of responsible for the day-to-day activities there. And the significance of her, now she's actually got to the age where she's about to take the long walk. So once we have the adventure, she will play a point. She will be part of that adventure. So that's why I brought her up, so people could hear about her. And then the ruler of Paradise, they refer to him as the Sun King. And his name is Hadrian Alius. And he's actually the seventh son of a seventh son. And he's actually really young. The other six brothers were poisoned to death by an assassin hired by his aunt, Kyrie, as a ploy to overthrow the kingdom. So he's 20 years old, kind of a recluse, but for some reason he knows everything that's going on around in the kingdom. And seems way more wiser than he should be. So that is the two people from Paradise.
John, questions?
So is the Sun King guy, is he going to also be doing the long walk soon, or does the Emperor get a pass?
Yeah, the Emperor kind of gets a pass.
Okay.
What's the long
Good to
walk?
be the emperor.
So in the three main cities, Pathos, Logos, and Ethos, they try to have population control by once you hit 55, you have to leave the city, which they refer to as the long walk.
Can you go to another city or are you exiled?
As long as
Well, you
cross
can't.
the desert.
Yeah, you cross the desert, and there's also little villages around. So, like, Annabelle will be going to Nightshade, and she'll live out there. But other nobles, they're rich enough they can afford ships to go to other countries. But if you're just a regular old Joe, there's a good chance you'll just end up
Buzzer bait.
as buzzer bait. Yeah.
Dust to dust. Other questions, John?
Well, you know how you said last time or one time about Logos having like passages over to the other side? Do the Nightshades have any dealings with the passages that go under the wall, or?
Not really, because Nightshade's kind of like, if you see like that cactus to the west of Logos,
Well,
that's
I
where
meant
they're
like
going
the
to be.
people, the leadership.
Oh, they do.
The
Well,
nobles.
in then they do. In the Nightbird family, they actually, I forgot
Nightbirds,
to,
that's what I meant to say. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, they're actually, she has actually done a deal with one of the merchant houses called Magus, who specialize in magical items, acquiring them and selling them. So basically, they're using the Nightbird wealth to be able to acquire, rare items, magical items, and stuff. And so they'll send people over to Leptis, to kind of hunt for treasure and stuff.
You rat thieving bastards.
Well, I mean, would you rather us steal your valuables or eat you? I mean,
You do both. You do both, you shithead. Carol, what kind of questions you got for Jeff?
Well, I asked the one anyway. What was the long walk?
Oh, yeah.
What's their personalities like? I don't remember if we covered that. Like, are they,
Personality. She's both of the Sun King is very recluse. Like hardly anybody ever sees him. And you would have to be like of the noble rank, or you'd have to be like a high official from another country to be able to gain an audience with him. The Annabelle is very charismatic. Everyone loves her. But once she hit that age, some of the other nobles, since she wouldn't take over their marriage proposals, they've kind of finagled her into the long walk.
Nice.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun place, I'll tell you.
You should have married them and had them poisoned too.
Yeah, no shit. Okay, I got two questions for you, Jeff. One is Nightshade a lot like Versailles, like an exterior palace where the emperor goes, or is it like a city?
It's like a small village.
Okay.
So a lot of these villages that aren't the main, like probably 80% of the population are in the big cities, but the smaller villages, there are probably a couple of families, but they have one of the big things for pastime is gladiator games. So a lot of them are building up gladiators to take them to the bigger cities and make money.
Cool. And Countess Nightbird. Everybody likes her, but what's she done?
What has she done? Well,
That's what Socium's all about, folks, putting these guys on the spot.
Well, part of hers is, she governs her district, which is the Belladonna district. So pretty much she's helped them, acquire wealth and prestige throughout the city of Logos.
Nice.
And then also with her dealing with the House of Magus, which was a smaller merchant house, she's kind of got them to expand out and get a little bit more influence.
That works. Any other questions for Jeff?
Not that I can think of.
John, you're up. Which one do we want to discuss first?
Let's go to Jubilor. And so I had us how to pronounce this name. It's an Elven name. but it's Alma Kildoente, which he doesn't really go by that because a lot of his people that are in his troops are lizard folk and a few other races. So he goes by the name Tom Stillbrook, and he's a major, so he's actually Major Tom Stillbrook. And
one more time on the main guy's name, because I'm pretty sure I heard it right.
Major
I'm gonna
Tom,
kill ya? Is that what it is?
Oh my god.
No.
I thought he said, I'm going to kill the pirate. The queen.
That's Humany, not Jubilar. She'll probably get along right there.
It's Alma Kildoente.
Alma Kildoente. Okay.
It's an Elvish word that means Stillbrook.
I'm going to kill the wench. Alma kill the wench.
Got it. Okay, sorry about that. And Major Tom.
No, you're not.
Yes. And so the Major is the leader of Alpha Company, which is one of the companies of the Jubilar Rangers. And they are one of the most elite units in the entire military of Jubilar. The reason they're so elite is because they have one of the hardest duties, which this coastline at Wyvern Pass near Darkwood is called, what is it called? Shady Coast. That area is infested with all kinds of vile critters, monsters. It's got a lot of, monsters essentially, and to keep them out of the main Jubilation Forest or whatever it's called, whatever, I don't remember what it's called, something like that. They have this, they have set up these outposts that the Alpha Company mans. And so they're, trying to fight the monster, keep them out of the main part of the forest where Jubal is, the main city. He is very well loved by his troops, and he has a lot of loyalty from them because he doesn't ever waste their lives for trivial things, or, he doesn't pass down orders blindly from above that aren't smart orders. And so unless it's something of critical importance, he won't spend his men to do it. If the Major has asked you to lay down your life for Jubilar, that means that there's not any other way to avoid a major catastrophe. And he is not on particularly good terms with Governor Grishton, who is General Grishton, who's also a governor of the area of the Shady Coast area, who is the quote mayor unquote of Darkwood. I say quote because Darkwood's kind of like a outlaw town, sort of like a pirate town. So
Yeah.
not really, there's no real law there other than who's got the biggest weapons and whatnot. But he's a very, Governor Grishton is a veteran lizard man who, from the battles, and he got his governorship as a reward for his duty during the war with the Sahagin. So he's pretty he's fierce. So they don't really get along for most things, but when it comes to fighting the monsters that are in this area, they actually both kind of work together pretty well, because that's the one thing that General Grishton actually does try to do, mainly because if he didn't, Darkwood would be overrun. So
nice. Carol, questions for John?
Don't know. I guess it's a fairly, I don't know much about the rest of the kingdom, so I guess it's a fairly dangerous place.
This area is that place along the southern coast of Wyvern Pass. This is the forested area near Darkwood. That area is pretty dangerous.
Shady Coast nursing home.
How are your leaders? How do your leaders come into power?
How do they get power?
Yeah, how do they become leaders? Are they elected or born?
The Lochnar.
So, if they're in the military, then they just go through the ranks, just like they get promoted for doing it.
So it's what would you call, what the heck is that called? that kind of government. What kind of government? It's I know. I think the military one has a name. It's run by the military.
The whole government isn't run by the military. Yeah, the whole government isn't like that, but he's so Major Tom is a major in this Rangers.
What?
So
what do they think about that pirate? Do they get along with pirates?
No, not really. I mean, only in the sense that he's an actual governor. He's officially supposed to be, in charge of that town. However, unofficially, he looks the other way when it comes to the dark dealings that go. Like, he's not exactly. He doesn't openly practice piracy. That Governor Grisham doesn't. But what it is he doesn't stop it. And in fact, probably takes bribes. So
he's like
part
the
of the
governor of
corrupt
Jamaica.
Maybe, yeah, something like that.
So Rosa gives all your ships a pass.
And but yeah. So any other questions?
Jeff, you're up.
Nope.
Yeah. What about the Major Tom? Does he pretty much takes the orders, like verbatim, or does he if he doesn't agree with the orders from the whoever runs Jubilor, will he say no? We're not going to do that.
He would probably not go along with anything they said if it was danger to his troops, but he's pretty much given autonomy within his region to do what he needs to do to protect the forest. So he doesn't have a lot of orders being passed to him other than what he wants to do anyway, which is, keep the monsters out of the main part of the forest. And he also really hates smugglers. So if he catches smugglers, he will send them off to Jubal for trial and sentencing.
Oh, Rosa.
So.
What about his aspirations?
Not a smuggler, though. Rosa's not a smuggler.
What was that question, Jeff?
What about his aspirations or his ambitions? Is he just happy, content, patrolling Werven's Pass, or?
I guess so. I mean, I don't think he really. Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't really thought of it. Maybe we'll say he's probably pretty content with where he is. At some point, he'll probably want to retire.
Good
Probably
point.
not near Dockwood.
Somewhere else.
What does he want to do when he retires? Go fishing?
Gosh, you guys. Yeah, he probably wants to go fishing and hunting. He's a ranger, so
That's fair.
he likes the outdoors.
What's the deal between Major Tom and the Gristane?
Yeah, so Governor Grisham,
Yes.
Yeah, so they're kind of like they have to work together to solve the monster situation, but they don't like each other because, Tom pretty much suspects him of being corrupt, but he doesn't really have any proof about it. So one of his goals might be to get that guy kicked out and put some actual leadership there.
Nice. Any other questions?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, time for me to try and make sense. The Great Empire of Aquinas. Back about 600 years ago, it was still in fluctuation. Aquinas actually dipped down into the kingdom of Ligna down here, and through a series of military trials, shall we say, made great inroads into the future kingdom. One of these generals, who later became the 20th emperor of Aquinas, was named Barbertius the Bloody. And let's go ahead and show you what this SOB looks like.
Oh,
Damn,
you
he's
got
ugly.
Artwork?
Oh.
Damn it, wrong one. Right here.
Where'd you get the picture?
I stole it off the internet. So this guy's about 6 foot tall, and he wears bronze armor because, of course, we're talking 500, 520, I think. He got his nickname honestly. He carried a glaive, a serrated edged glaive with tiny hooks on it. So when he'd do damage, he would do maximum infliction of damage, especially tearing at the flesh and causing a lot of blood to pour freely. He would also use his spiked helmet to impale people in the eye if they got too close. He is almost as much barbarian as you can get in an empire. And because of his inroads down into the Southlands, aka the Kingdom of Linga, he was made the 20th Emperor of Aquinas. It was a job he did not much care for, because, of course, it is a lot of bureaucratic horseshit. So he was not a big fan. He preferred imposing his will not through the pen, but through the sword. He was well respected by his troops. He took good care of them. He was always on the front lines, so he was not a sit-on-your-ass general telling you what to do and go die. He was right up there in the thick of things. He enjoyed battle. And if you did not bend the knee, if he took over your land and you did not bend the knee, he had the nasty habit of tearing off a limb. So be it an arm or a leg, and he would watch and wait until you decided to acquiesce to his wishes. If you didn't, he would pull off another limb. And when he would do this in front of the ensembled village, town, or whatever, so that everybody could see he meant business. Hence the Bloody nickname. But there's a funny story. After becoming the 20th Emperor, sitting around in Sepkatis here in the center, he got bored. Got a little out of shape, and decided, he needs to go back to his roots. He's going to go ahead and lead a mission deeper into the Kingdom of Linga, and he was using Bark's Crossing as his home base. There were rebels in Sigtuna that he had to go deal with, but upon his return to Bark's Crossing, he was presented with 5 rebels who were causing problems, one of which was a young girl. He asked her to bend the knee, and she actually acquiesced. But unbeknownst to Barbartius, his guards had not patted the young woman down very well. And when she took a knee, she looked him in the eye, and told him, "I'm very sorry." Smugly he asked, "What are you sorry for?" And she points out, "Because I didn't do this sooner." Reaches up and shivs his eye. The guards jump her. They stab the shit out of her. When she falls on top of Barbartitus, the Bloody, both dead as Lincoln. The individual that he left in charge of Sepkatis was an elven woman, and her name is Chancellor Landis the Scholar, a female elf. She became the 21st Emperor upon the death of Barbartitus the Bloody. So that is his life and death, so to speak. Questions? Carol.
Oh, I don't know. That's pretty well fleshed out. I don't know. I can't. He's an interesting character, though. I will say that much.
All of my NPCs are interesting.
He's not. I feel like even though he still is to a degree, he is definitely still an asshole. Maybe, to a degree he's an asshole, but
not from the point of Aquinas.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on your point of view.
Yeah.
He was liked there, but to everyone else, he was an asshole. Mm-hmm. So your track record still holds.
Yep. Oh,
charismatic. I imagine.
Hate him.
Charismatic, right?
That's right.
If he had a class, what would it be?
Oh, he'd be a barbarian fighter.
Barbarian fighter?
Yeah.
With charisma.
Yep. I did not flesh out his origin, but my guess would be he would have been from the hills over here by the ridge.
Do you have barbarian tribes in your country?
Yes, they are on the outskirts. So
Poor beans.
they're on the Silver Mountains because Jeff's Gotars are everywhere, and those things need loving.
Love it, yeah. Literal loving.
Yeah, literal.
They like
loving.
their cheese.
There's a reason there's so many different tars, because the barbarians are not so choosy.
Lord. Are they
It
Scott?
gets cold in them mountains, Carol.
Are they Scott? Oh, so did we take him from the Scottish?
Yeah, a little bit. They're
That would
Picts.
track.
They
That's
would be
totally
Picts,
track.
maybe painted blue in the face.
That would
But
totally track with the goat thing.
Barber Titus did not paint his face, except in the blood of thine enemies.
What happened to his glaive or whatever it was?
Ooh.
You know what? That's a good question, because that thing's going to be magical.
I figured
Oh,
it would be
that
some
thing's
kind of
gonna-
artifact.
That's
I
gonna
think
be
that'll be
somewhere.
around. I think
It's
maybe
gotta
you
be
guys need to find it.
Yeah. There's a campaign right there.
And you know what? Maybe it's possibly cursed, so that if you use it too often, you just get that bloodlust and have to become a giant asshole and go find Gotars.
And that's a curse?
Wait. Let me get this straight. So if you find it, you're gonna fall in love with the first Gotar you run into.
You're going to fall in love with every Gotar
Every
you
single one.
run
Okay.
into.
Well, is it really love? When it's every single
It's
one, or is
temporary
that
love.
lust?
Yeah, it's
So
temporary
it's
love.
lust. So you lust every Gotar you've run
But you know
into.
what? You got a great magic weapon. So,
Is it-
it's
yeah,
a
right.
trade-off. As long as there's not a
Excellent.
herd nearby, you can really focus.
I mean,
Sure.
there's
Oh my
the
God.
right Gotar, and then there's the right now Gotar.
Oh my God, that's so wrong.
Maybe a critical miss lowers your charisma to Gotars. And you have to fight that much harder to get their interest peaked again.
Oh God.
Wow, that one didn't go anywhere like I thought it
Oh
would.
God. That's
Uh,
because I'm already in enough pain as it is.
Jeff or John, any questions about Barbatetus the Bloody?
Barbatetus the Bloody.
So
Okay.
what about, I have a question. So what about after he died, how is that with Aquinas with the kingdom? Did they attribute that to the kingdom, or did they just think of it as just random rebels that were in their country?
It was actually, and I did start to write that, when his replacement, the 21st emperor, took over, it was a period of rebellion, and the kingdom of Linga took about another 120 years to fend off the Aquinas and move them back north to a 38th parallel. The body itself of the Bloody was taken up to Sepkatis and given a royal funeral. But yeah, I'm going to say that glaive never made it back. So, but yes, it began a great turmoil because the elven woman was a scholar and not much of a military tactician. Aquinas started to constantly lose the land that they took, procured, borrowed, or stole. So, which led to the independence of the kingdom of Linga. Or Ligna. John, any questions?
So, just so I know, where is Svengate? Is that part of Linga or is that part of Aquinas?
Currently, Svengate is the fortress of Ligna. It is the
Okay.
northernmost fortress. So the grasslands here where Dagacia is, that is the tip of the Aquinas, as is the Tower of London here. Svengate protects the only river crossing in the north. And Bark's Crossing is where the Bloody met his bloody end.
Cool.
Wow. We are really chopping away at this. So, 5-minute speed round. Carol, who's your next one?
Oh God, 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Well, I'm gonna do it since I did basically the whole Sea-Yarvin area. We did mention both parts. Now I'll go to Traskillion. So the leaders, it is a king and queen, or otherwise known as the Lord and Lady of the Moon. You have Arundel and let's see if I get it. Kitharel, Is that how you spelled it? I think what the hell did I do? I spelled it 2 different ways. No, it's actually, I like Kitherol. I'm going to add the L at the end. Kitherol, Winwyver. So Lord and Lady of the Moon and the King and Queen. And in Triskelion, it is passed on to your children. So they have been rulers for thousands of years. Actually, can I get one clarification? Do we remember, because I looked at my notes and it must be on different notes. When did we determine the cataclysm hit? How many years ago?
Year 0, 1000.
Oh, so it was like, right, so no, they weren't alive then.
1121 is where we're at right now, or 11.
Right, so it was year 0 when everything went kablooey. So they did not survive that, but the reason why they're reclusive, they did have to survive the time of I wrote it in here, the dwarves there. What the hell did I call them? Let's see, having lived through the Kurus Kral, which are as he likes to call them, the Nazi dwarves, picking on them, taking them for slaves, and more or less just terrorizing them. They definitely don't like visitors. They don't like anybody, with the exception of really Rosa and Tigri, their dwarven neighbors, because they all do trade, and they all lied to take out the dwarves, the bad dwarves. So that's mostly why they had to endure that rather crappy time. Let's see, and they're more or less they're not just assholes. They're just plain protective of their people in the country. They also have lost a lot of the population did get decimated, and in Elven terms, it's not that long ago, that many generations, considering how long they live, when the meteor hit, caused the wave that destroyed half the country and took out a lot of elves. So they are very protective of their people. And they do live in a castle. It's a castle. It's made of stone out of all things, but it has trees that are like right around it, and the trees have kind of interwoven with the castle itself, with the walls. As for the couple, they are young by Elven standards. He is 220 and she is 175. She is a druid, an archdruid, and he's a warrior. They have one female child named Lycia, who would be the heir to the throne. Gender does not matter here. It's whoever's the firstborn. And a brief description. Arundel he's about 6'2". He's got light brown hair. It's actually going to be on the longer side. He's like an elf, tall, thin, pointy ears. He's got brown eyes, and however, oh my god, I'm going to butcher her name. Why do I write names I can't pronounce? Steve,
go with
Kithriel, I think it's actually going. Kithriel, she is very, very striking and beautiful. She is 5'10". She's got hair. It was white hair, but she's dyed it green because druid. And it is long and braided. And she has hypnotic violet eyes. And that's what I got. So I think I covered a lot of things there.
Jeff, questions?
I can't think of any right now.
John.
Wow, did I do that
muted.
good?
I was going to ask,
I didn't think I'd do that well.
do they have any like enemies within the court of the elves? Do they have any friends? Like, is there any rivalry?
Good question.
I said I didn't think too far on that one because it's so reclusive. Like nobody outside of the place knows. really could be. I mean, it's unlike with the dwarves, where there is definitely some where the leadership is contested. They wouldn't have any enemies like that, and they have done a good job of protecting their country. There are some. I'll go as far as say there are some elves that would like them to be less reclusive, like them to open things up. Especially some of the ones that had, fought with Rosa and with the dwarves, and know that just it doesn't matter. The people are people, or elves are elves, or whatever. Some are friendly, some are bad, and to shut everybody out, they're really doing themselves a disservice. So I would say they're disagreements rather than the outright enemies.
Right.
I would actually probably most the interesting intrigue is probably in Sea Haven, where politics abound. But they're not so much. I mean, they are recognized as the undisputed rulers, and I didn't even put down how long they've been ruling, but they are fairly young, so they probably haven't been ruling. They probably stepped up, probably about 50 years ago when they took over.
Cool beans. Jeff, let's talk about your goat people.
I was going to say one more quick thing. And I'll say in my country, since they live so long, abdicating the throne to your children is a common thing. Retirement is possible.
That's a nice thing. Yep.
I'm going to add that note.
Cool.
I know. I wish I would have done something on the goat people, but
I'm disappointed.
I know. I did. So the ruler of Sanctuary is named Bevon Blue Moon, and he's the son of Cletus Red Moon, son of Neil Harvest Moon. Bevon, he goes by Blue. He was born on the 13th full moon of the year 1050.
Is he Blue from Old School?
I didn't think of that. That would be pretty funny.
You're my boy.
So when he was young, he was actually one of the few that were born with horns. And so he had huge horns, like 4 feet on each side. But when he was a teenager, he was captured by soldiers of humanity who sawed off his horns. And they never...
Wow!
Why would they do that?
What a bunch of dicks!
And so they never grew back. So he has kind of like little stubs on the side of his head.
What do the barbarians hang on to?
So, but as an adult, Blue, he actually did the peace treaty between humanity and Tar, so they would stop fighting. And he's on the tribal council just because he's the ruler of Sanctuary. But he's like the main voice against warfare with humanity. And he's also kind of to be like a mentor. So Sanctuary, anybody that wants to get away from, if they've committed crimes or have people after them, they can go there for Sanctuary. And so he's real big about trying to build the people up and make them more peaceful and better people than they were. Cool. So, and then he comes from a long line of brewmasters, and his son Anson is currently running the brewery.
What's his title?
Well, he's the ruler of Sanctuary. So, like in Tar, they have like a tribal council. So they all, there's 3 from the different tribes, the Mutars. They all have a tribal chief, and then the cities have a tribal chief, and they get together, and that's how they dictate their policies for the country.
So he's like a chief.
Yeah, he's a chief.
It's a chief. Yeah. I was gonna say, what's his title? I mean, so yeah.
Yeah, he's a chief.
Chief. Okay, that makes sense.
And so, the other person we have is Thundercloud, son of Red Cloud, and he's the youngest chief of the Centaurs. So he was elected chief for the Centaurs after his father was ambushed and murdered while patrolling the the road towards Rockport. So he is it's down below. Yeah. So like there's going to be like a path to go to the different cities. So he's very against humanity, and he kind of harasses a lot of the merchants that are, if they're going towards humanity, he might actually, have his vengeance on them. So, and then he's also, he's very charismatic, so he can really get the other centaurs riled up and ready, fuming to fight or make love.
One might say he's a horse's ass.
Oh.
That was a gimme.
Yeah, it was really easy.
John,
Really easy.
What do you think about your neighbors?
Yeah.
So, where was this guy, the horse guy again? Where was he?
Down here.
Center.
Yeah, down
Rockport.
here.
Chief of
Well,
Rockport.
he's not chief of the Rockport. He's the chief of all the centaurs.
Oh, okay. Of all the
So-
centaurs. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So and they're probably the largest of the group. So, and there's all the different, little villages or tribes of centaurs, but he's the top dog.
Where does he hang out normally?
He's going to be kind of like near Rockport. There's going to be like a path.
Don't tell him
like
he's
a
going to send the
merchant.
military.
Yeah. I got to send some paladins over there.
Well, you probably know that he's there just because he's probably been harassing your merchant lines.
Probably.
Wait, we really should just all get together and take out humanity. Just
Oh,
take
okay.
Wouldn't be a
over.
bad thing.
Rosa, I could see Rosa starting to, try to.
I don't know. Paradise is very. They're very they like humanity. They're a good client.
That's right. So are the
I don't
Atrine.
know.
That's how humanity has managed to not get friggin' ruffle stomped by angry people. They
Maybe.
know how to buy their love. I get it.
Well, that and they're down here in Uratu. That group's a mess. Okay, John, finish this out. You want to do humanity, or do you want to go back over to Jubilor?
I'm humanity, so
Oh please!
in humanity,
I want to hear this.
the little you got the Brown River there, and there's that little forest in that nook there. Yeah, that one.
Because it's so full of shit.
It's called the Respite Woods, and inside that Respite Woods, there's a village, small village, named Freed. Freed is kind of a respite away from the humans for any non-humans that may be seeking, sort of like Sanctuary, but it's there's as many of these places you can get, the better. So the leader of this village, the mayor, he calls himself, his name is Cor Gruffhide. He's a Gotar, and he's really old. He's probably 60 or older. He's a very powerful druid, and he has fought the humans for decades, but now he's kind of he's 60, so he provides this refuge and hideout called Freed to try to help people who are still being oppressed.
Nice.
He has friends with the Fae, and so he will occasionally ask for favors of the Fae. If humanity sends in like a scouting patrol to try to find Freed, he will ask the Fae to use their magic to hide the town. And so a lot of times they can help keep him out. He also has a pseudo-dragon companion named Sparkles.
Oh, I love it. I friggin' love it.
I don't have anything else written, but I had some other ideas if you guys
Oh
have
my
any
god,
questions.
Rosa wants to work with him so bad. Just know that if he ever needs a place to
You're
go,
full of crap. You were just saying how we all needed to gang up and destroy you.
not on that guy.
Let's roll back the tape. You just
No,
said that.
no, not that guy's looking to that guy fucks with him. So
Okay.
yeah. No, Rosa will work with anybody who fucks with humanity. If he needs to get out of Dodge and he needs a place to go, she'll absolutely welcome him.
So far, they haven't attracted enough attention from.
That's great.
The human paladins and whatnot to get overrun. So they're kind of keeping it on the down low. There are other places of kind of like the underground of. In fact, Humany is riddled with the Underdark. There's like a lot of caverns underneath it, and so a lot of it is in use for non-humans to try to hide from the humans.
Well, but said, I mean, I could totally see there being some deal, that that he knows that if people need a place to go, they can come up to Sea Haven.
John, doesn't Humany look at pirates as human scum?
Yes.
I mean, the humans probably do. Yeah, they don't really go for that piracy stuff. They're pretty lawful. I mean, other than the fact that they're, Humany is, racist. They're fairly lawful. In fact, they would be considered
lawful racist.
They're lawful racist. There's an alignment right there.
They're lawful good. I mean, they're like, well, good in the sense of the way they see good. They do obey their religious scripts, and the only thing that's unusual about their script is how, humans are, divine or descended from divine, and all the other races are inferior. That's part of their religion, and so, but they follow the religion, and the religious tenets are usually pretty altruistic, apart from the fact that we're going to kill centaurs and all these other creatures.
Lawful zealot is their alignment.
Could be.
Nice.
Could be.
Folks,
better.
Go ahead.
Better to kill them than to rape them, like the old barbarians over there.
It wasn't rape; it was consensual.
Wow.
Folks, this is the Socium Project here on Between the Rolls. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope maybe you garnered some ideas for some NPCs or some rulers in your own campaign. If not, feel free to use these bunch of clowns that we just gave you. I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement on it. I mean, even Jeff said, I didn't do too much on it, and then he's got like 3 backstories. So, that is the beauty of the Socium Project. You get a bunch of DMs in a room, and they can talk for hours. So, unfortunately, we only do this for an hour. Now, Thursday, Anja Yeager will be at Cred with the others. Saturday, we're going to be doing Calamity. Sunday, hopefully, Margoo. This is Murder Hobo Inc. Follow us on Twitter. Take a look at our Discord if you want to shoot the shit about D&D. If you're in the mood for new math rocks, and who isn't, run on over to Twitter at Pirate Dog Dice. If you want to buy our cool crap, shirt, phone case, duvet cover, crap like that, the link is down below. If you do in-person games, which I highly recommend, try some Adventure Scents by oddfishgames.com. They come in 60 different scents. And if you want to be a writer like us, only gooder, much, much gooder, check out their Shine system, also at oddfishgames.com. Folks, for all of us here at Murder Hobo Inc., the Socium Project, we appreciate your time and patronage. Hit us up if you're ever interested or you have a question. If we don't know the answer, we will make it up on the fly. Everybody, and my apologies for fucking up the start of it, as usual. I'll get better at it, or I'll just make the wife do it. Folks, let's give a big old kiss and wave and say goodnight. Bye, everybody.
See you Thursday.